main event of the evening. This, the first of our two main events of the evening. 3 5-minute rounds in the featherweight division. London live on ITV4, partnered by RDX.com and 32red.com and CoinGeek.com. Now, we introduce first the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall and has a combat weight of 151 pounds even, holding a professional record of 3 wins against 5 defeats. From Alameda, California, USA, presenting Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor. And now across the cage in the right corner, standing 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighed in officially at 150 pounds even. An undefeated professional record, 5 career wins, fighting out of Canby, England, presenting Mike Pretty Boy Hayles. When the action begins, your referee in charge, Mr. Rich Mitchell.
So Chris, we have as our co-main event the Battle of the Pretty Boys. And in one corner, as we said, an unbeaten fighter with everything, it seems, in his favor. But you and I have both seen his opponent, Anthony Taylor, and he's fought at the highest level.
And Anthony Taylor has talked an awful lot of smack. He said, if you kick, I'm going to take you down and use that wrestling. If you want to stand and throw hands like a man, I'm happy to oblige. Hayles, though, I think it's key that he uses the kickboxing. He was a kickboxer before he began MMA at 20. He's young in the game, he's undefeated, but he's got to set up those kicks with intelligence.
Now, we also said that Taylor, he's durable, he can take a shot, he's flamboyant. And again, look at this, straight away the takedown. And in his last bout, let's be honest, Dean Barry was really highly rated on his debut, and he took him out.
And the crews and the training partners. Taylor trains with Antonio McKee, AJ McKee, Aaron Pico. A list of really good wrestlers. So in California, he said, I put in a pretty short camp, but it was a good camp. I'm ready to go in there and press the grappling if I have to. The big question was, how long would it take before he did so? The answer, not long.
And here's the other thing. We talked about highly anticipated strikers. That's what Dean Barry was.
And Taylor did exactly this. Takedown, pass guard, force the back, and look for that rear naked choke. But the thing about Hayles is he's been working really hard too. A couple of fights ago, he went from Essex to the Republic of Ireland, to SVG, to one of the best gyms in the world. So, training under John Kavanagh, he said, I've gone from strength to strength, I've trained better and harder than ever before, and I'll be well prepared for anything he brings to the table. So, nearly got up twice there, but the reshot from his opponent in Taylor is exceptional. And it's not the first attempt at the takedown now, it's everything that comes afterwards.
And you and I were talking before this, and you said he's like a real bulldog, Taylor, for the takedown. You said people underestimate his strength, people underestimate his durability. And again, I alluded to it, you said he trains at the highest level, let alone fights at the highest level.
That's also been a key ingredient for Hayles, if you ask him about his improvements, though. He said, I actually blagged my way into the pro class at SBG. John Kavanagh took me in the back in the office afterwards and said, why don't you join the team? A couple months later, he's got selfies with Conor McGregor. So I think that speaks volumes about his commitment. But tonight, I think it will be undoubtedly the toughest test of his MMA career.
And again, Chris, you talk about selfies. This has been so perfectly because both these men in the pre-fight build-up were on about their Instagram supporters, their pretty boy looks. But Taylor is pouring on the pressure here, Chris.
Hayles went up with the legs there, looking for that triangle choke, but Taylor's squaring up beautifully here. You can see from her angle, it'll kind of follow the hips. Every single time Hayles moves backwards or shift to the side, he's going to make sure he stays flush to him here, just over the midway point of the round. Taylor on top. This is big.
And again, Chris, look at the reverse of the coin with all the talk that's gone on before. What about a reversal with Hayles with that training with SPG if he got the submission against Taylor?
Yeah, that'd be a real feather in his cap. Rich Mitchell, I think, is going to stand him up here. Not enough activity. Not sure what happened there. There was obviously a foul. Rich Mitchell was clearly unhappy with something. I couldn't tell from our angle on the monitor what occurred.
He was pointing to Anthony Taylor's shoulder twice.
Moving and striking, don't get your back up to the fence because clearly Taylor has the ascendancy here. Look at that. Passes like butter.
And Chris, as you said before, when you looked at Taylor the first time, before we commentated on him for the very first time, you said, that's a wrestler's physique.
He's doing a good job here, trying to step over, get that mounted crucifix. Hayles turns in, recovers a half guard position. Taylor again trying to pin and work that right arm of Hayles down to the canvas, and he's going to punch and stay busy the whole time. This is what we saw prior to getting that point deducted in his top control.
And he's got to have, because of that point deduction, a really big, not just a good round, a dominant round here, and he's looking for that from the start. It's good tactics from the American, but as we saw against Barry as well, he's patient in the setup. He'll work you until the opportunity comes.
There's that head pressure again. He basically wants to be as deep as possible. By that I mean several things. Number one, not only his head position, but when he catches an underhook. There we go, beautiful. He's looking to step over and pass. See him fighting for the underhook on the right side? He wants that as deep as possible, and that will allow him to pressure pass. Good head pressure again from Taylor, and these are short shots, these are annoying shots. They're not going to stop the fight per se, but they're going to allow him to open up for the pass. And that's part of mixing striking in MMA and the grappling.
Chris, another point here as well. You said training with SBG, he'll be in this position, but he's never been in this position in a real battle. He's finished opponents quickly, he's finished them upright. It's one thing to train it. What's it to be in the cage with your opponent like this in a real battle?
He's in a bad position right now. He's in real danger of this one being stopped. He's got to keep working. Watch the forehead. Rich Mitchell is obviously going to make sure he keeps a good angle here and keep a solid vantage point. But the problem is for Hayles is he's trying to work that Z-guard position. He's trying to frame up in this half-guard position. He can sweep, he can do certain things, but right now he's stuck between a rock and a hard place.
And as you said, that Taylor slips back in again, gets back there, and starts those punches coming again. As you said, they're not necessarily concussive, but it's the sheer volume coming through now from the American.
Yeah, and Rich Mitchell will be making an assessment. He'll be looking for intelligent defense, and obviously for Hayles to work to improve his position. And he'll make an assessment of not only what happens in the immediate moments that he may call a finish, but everything that's happened up until that point. Good short punches here from Taylor. He's staying busy enough. It's not the most exciting thing, but it's an efficient way of winning, especially against a guy who's a pretty good kickboxer in Hayles.
And a guy that he will look at his record and say, well, he's 5-0, it's all stoppages, I'm not going to give him that opportunity against me. And he faced a similar situation with Dean Barry when everybody was telling him, this guy is so vicious on top, he's so good, but these punches coming through, Chris, Hayles has to do something about them here.
Yeah, it's not good enough to win the fight by recovering guard. He's got a good close guard here. That's better than where he was before. But Taylor's staying busy. And he's scoring, and he's working just enough to avoid being stood up. Oh, those are big shots.
He's
big shots
close
from
now,
Taylor.
Chris. He is looking close now, Rich Mitchell, Chris.
You can see Hayles try to explode. He knows that he's got to keep working. It's one of those things that you drill in the gym. It's not getting in positions and accepting them.
So we're approaching the last minute of the second round, and despite the point deduction, it's been a torrid time for Mike Hayles, 5-0 before coming into this. But Taylor set out the stall, and he is so dogged in the way he keeps you there. And the way, as you said, Chris, he stays so close to you.
Yeah, he's shutting down those hips every single time. There's no space. Short punches to the body.
Then suddenly he'll posture up and really throw the heavy rights as well, and that's when Rich Mitchell comes in very close to have a look. But at the moment we've got the battle of the self-professed pretty boys here, and for the first time Taylor hinting that he's going to stand up and trade. I don't believe that for a second, Chris.
Yeah, I was looking for that level change. The reshot is huge. Again, it's that chain wrestling. Look at that beautiful head inside single, try to get the trip, couldn't get it. Goes double, gets the pickup. He's always got several options after he gets in underneath you, and that's the difference. It's not the most exciting thing, but in MMA, it's all about coming up with something your opponent doesn't have an answer to, and that's been the difference for Taylor here.
That's right, against a very accomplished striker, he's negated all that, kept it close, kept it tight, kept working his man. Taylor's been like an octopus on Hayles, sucking him in, keeping him there. And he doesn't let go of these submissions, or, well, of this grappling, Chris. He'll kick for that leg till he gets where he wants to be.
And he's so active the way he does it. There, a look of frustration, that says it all.
Yes, you look at Mike Hayles' corner there. There's nothing they can do to stop this man here. And he did it in the second, and he's prepared to stay there. Let's look at one thing here that needs to be addressed. Taylor's cardio for this sort of performance, Chris.
Yeah, it's important. Unless you've been there and done it, you don't realize the kind of energy that it takes, especially after coming in during fight week, cutting weight, you got to get everything correct. And Taylor's been able to keep up just enough activity to keep this fight where he wants it. He's won the positional controlling there a minute ago, and just keep punching, keep working.
We're inside the last 30 seconds. He's done the business, he's done the job, he's ignored the crowd, he's stifled Hayles, he's stifled the crowd. He's taken the energy out of him. He's doing a job here, and he's doing a professional job as befits his experience. Let's get that straight.
Yeah, all you can do in this sport is win the rounds and win them the best way you can.
So we're coming to the end of the final round here, Chris. It's going to go to decision. Who has won the Battle of the Pretty Boys? We'll be right back with Buddy Johnson to find out.